Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we are decoding something absolutely fascinating. We're looking at this incredible intersection where high-level theoretical physics meets deep digital world-building, all straight from the pages of Bibebibebibe Magazine. We're talking about a text that's just so layered, you know? It actually blends hardcore quantum mechanics with the massive lore of an independent studio. So grab your notebooks, because we're getting into the weeds today.
Okay, let's dive into this. The source material hits us right out of the gate with a massive, mind-bending conceptual question. How do you actually calculate a structured multiverse? I mean, just imagine trying to map out the exact physical parameters, the literal numerical values that govern how entirely different universes or dimensions interact with each other. It's wild. And the text we're analyzing, it doesn't just ask this philosophically. No, it attempts to answer it mathematically. It treats these multidimensional interactions with the utter seriousness of a peer-reviewed physics paper, treating the abstract as something entirely measurable.
And honestly, nothing grounds an abstract concept quite like hard mathematical data, right? According to the source's multiversal calculations, the live EEMij value is exactly 0.2412. This incredibly specific number is our starting point, and it immediately tells us exactly what kind of explainer this is going to be. The creators aren't just handing us vague sci-fi tropes, they're providing precise data outputs for what they call structured multiversal interactions. So we're going to see exactly how they arrive at this number, and way more importantly, what this number actually represents in their world.
To get there, here's our roadmap. We'll start with number 1, the math of the multiverse, followed by 2, zero mode versus KK modes. Then, 3, we'll look at the architect, Dr. Sewell, move into 4, decoding the sovereign diagnostic, and finally wrap up with 5, the origin of psychovenga.
All right, jumping right into section 1, the math of the multiverse. You have to appreciate the dense academic terminology they use here. The text doesn't shy away from complex jargon at all. It literally embraces it. It lays out concrete parameters for Brane-World quantum field theory, or QFT. We get these specific SMI axioms, which stands for Structured Multiversal Interactions. Let's look at the numbers. With a brane separation L of 30 and a warp factor K of 1.0, we arrive at a mathematical suppression value of roughly 0.30119. And what's just so brilliant to me is the presentation. The source includes UI elements like export CSV and reset data based on a single data point. It frames this Brane-World QFT not as fiction, but as an interactive dashboard of measurable, verifiable data.
Moving on to section 2, zero mode versus KK modes.
To really understand how that initial live-image value is calculated, we have to look at the balance between two competing theoretical forces within this framework. And this brilliantly illustrates the duality the author sets up. On one side, we have the zero mode, which governs 4D gravity. The source dictates that this is composed of massless 4D gravitons explicitly color-coded in their visualizations using cyan and red. Competing against that, we have the KK modes, which operate in the so-called bulk. These are made of massive Kaluza-Klein modes, and they're tracked using magenta and pink. The text goes so far as to detail a blue line for the theoretical sum and green dots for measured points. It's literally a complete color-coded system designed to let you visualize the invisible forces of the multiverse.
So how do those two exact forces stack up to give us our live EEMij value of 0.2412? Well, the numerical breakdown is super precise. It shows that the zero mode contributes a value of 0.2500, while the massive Kaluza-Klein mode contributes 0.1111. By giving us this highly specific numerical relationship, the source totally grounds its multiversal architecture. It creates this airtight internal logic where gravity and dimensional weight interact in a strictly regulated, quantifiable way.
That brings us to section 3, the architect, Dr. Sewell.
To truly grasp what we're looking at here, we really need to look at the mind behind the math. The paper calculating this EEMij derivation is actually credited to a Dr. Melvin Sewell, M.Sc, Ph.D., and it's dated June 15, 2026. Introducing this author fundamentally shifts our understanding of what this data even represents. We aren't just reading a disembodied voice on the internet. No, the text goes way out of its way to build a robust, highly authoritative persona behind these equations.
And when you evaluate Dr. Sewell's credentials listed in the source, a much larger picture starts to emerge. He isn't just an academic dean, he is titled a diagnostic architect. He's the founder of the Cosmic University of Echo Rift Studies, IX. But wait, right alongside those academic titles, he's also listed as the CEO of True Flow Games and the CEO of Bibebibebibe Studio. This is a massive clue for us.
we're witnessing the deliberate intersection of pseudo-academia and a digital art and gaming studio. It plants the seed that the cosmic university, the complex math, and the multiverse itself are all pieces of a much larger interactive cinematic project.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, decoding the sovereign diagnostic.
So if this is all a massive art project, what's its actual purpose? So the crucial point is found in the explicit disclaimer provided by the source. The text plainly states that none of the materials, not the films, the magazine posts, or these diagnostics, are affiliated with any real-world government, political party, intelligence agency, or activist group. Instead, they're authored as, quote, mythic infrastructure, cinematic indictment, and sovereign broadcast. Meaning that incredibly complex math we just dug into, it's actually the foundation for a profound, completely self-contained art project. It's using the rigid language of diagnostics to tell a story.
But what exactly is that story? Well, the source details what this mythic infrastructure is designed to do within its own fictional universe. These diagnostic tools are meant to expose concepts like ritualized containment, actor convergence, and systemic erosion. Those data points we looked at earlier, they're essentially glyphs and interpretations designed to execute collapse protocols. By framing their lore through these heavy philosophical themes, the creators have built a world that feels incredibly urgent, analytical, and deeply mysterious. And they do it all impartially, without endorsing any real-world political viewpoints. It's just pure, high-concept storytelling.
And finally, Section 5, the origin of Saiku Venga.
At this point, the metacontext falls away, and we get to dive directly into the deep lore that this entire framework supports. Chapter 1. All of the Brane-World physics, the EEMij derivations, and those sovereign diagnostics, they all lead right to this very moment, the origin of Psychovengeia. The text describes Psychovengeia as emerging directly from the rift, born between slip flow and counterflow. These terms act as the foundational, opposing in-universe forces. So you can start to see how that mathematical duality we discussed earlier, the zero mode versus the KK modes, might thematically govern the very birth and existence of this character who is caught right between these flows.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the final detail provided in the Echo Rift archive. Psychovenga isn't just born between these forces. The character is specifically marked by SH1 resonance. This is just a perfect full-circle moment for the source material. It takes the epic, mythic birth of a character and brings it right back down to a specific, measurable, scientific-sounding frequency, the SH1 resonance. It perfectly encapsulates Dr. Sewell's unique, signature blend of cinematic mythology and razor-sharp diagnostic precision.
We've unpacked the math, the creator, the artistic intent, and the deep lore. But honestly, it's pretty clear we've only scratched the surface of this incredibly detailed world. It leaves us with a truly compelling question to consider. What other diagnostic tools lie hidden within the Cosmic University of Echo Rift Studies IX? By framing fiction as verifiable data, the Bibebibebibe universe has created an endless sandbox for exploration. I hope this explainer helped you map out the brilliant, structured chaos of this material. Until next time, keep exploring the data.